All right, we're here with head football coach Marty Hoffmann. Coach, Cougs take on Northwestern tomorrow night at Big Cat Stadium at 6 p.m. But before that, let's recap the Crown game from last week.
Yeah, Crown game was exactly what we thought it would be. In terms of just a struggle, fight, back and forth type game, and 7-7 at halftime. It was nice for us to come out. We were able to get a field goal there to kind of start the third quarter, and really kind of felt like we gained some momentum with that. Before that we had a strip sack that we were able to recover the fumble and move it down, almost inside the 20 right away. So obviously in that situation we certainly would have liked a touchdown, but obviously we'll take the points. And then they got like a 19-play, 18-minute drive. It felt like, anyways. So, but it was a long drive. It took a lot out of us, and quite honestly, they controlled the game. And from the second quarter and the third quarter, I think they almost about doubled our time of possession, and we weren't able to establish any consistent running game. And was proud of the defense of just taking the ball away, continuing to kind of keep us in it, and then, like I said, after that drive, we muff a kickoff return that starts us inside our own 5, and things kind of unraveled from there, and that just really took a lot of steam out of us. So, thought the kids for the most part fought hard. There was that stretch in there that I challenged them that we got to be better, and from an overall program standpoint, third downs we just got to be better, and that's going to be no different than here against Northwestern. Another kind of run heavy team to set up some play action and things like that. So we got to be able to stop the run again, and obviously win on third down.
And we're talking on Friday afternoon, and old saying is hay's in the barn, all that fun stuff. So what has been kind of the practice plan for this week?
Well, I've been kind of pleased with the kids' response. Obviously with a game like that, you worry, that maybe they kind of go downhill a little bit emotionally, focus-wise, things like that. I don't think that's been the case. Guys have been pretty energetic, pretty upbeat, pretty positive. Certainly Sunday was a difficult day, and certainly this was a tough game to shake. But again, the old saying always is 1-0 each week, and now we're on to Northwestern, and obviously the kids understand that. It's just the key with us is really about learning from mistakes and continuing to get better at those things, and obviously keep doing the things that have been successful. So I've been kind of seeing that this week. We got a little bit more work to do today. I won't say necessarily that the hay's in the barn, but we certainly got some work to get done today and get ourselves ready for tomorrow night.
And then what have you seen from that defensive line? Adam, Matt, Carter, they're up in near the top of the UMAC in sacks and tackles for loss, I believe.
Yeah, they're disruptive, and certainly within our scheme, we want those guys to be active. We do call upon those guys to be very active in the run game, certainly rushing the passer, things like that. And really, I'd add Luna into that group too, and even Jurgensen. Our front 5 have really been doing a great job, especially these last couple weeks, these last 2 weeks specifically, versus Iowa Wesleyan, and then in the Crown here, they've done a real nice job. And we expect more of the same from them from here on out. Certainly like kind of the camaraderie that we have up front. A lot of that has to go to credit to Coach Zim. He's done a really good job with our defensive line, and then our underneath players, our inside backers with Luna and Jurgi, have really started to step up as well. And again, I expect more of the same from those guys, because those have got to be productive positions for us, and so far they have been.
And then what do you remember from last year at Northwestern, the close game?
Well, pretty typical UMM Northwestern ball game. It's going to be hard fought both sides. Nobody ever quits on it, it seems like. I know 2 years ago we had a lead late in that ball game and ended up slipping through the cracks on us. And then last year, I think we forced like 7 turnovers and offensively just couldn't get the ball in the end zone through the red zone. We missed 3 kicks. So there are things from even last year that you go, this will be no different. I certainly expect Northwestern to come in hungry. I know that they're looking for a win as well. And certainly Coach Moore does a nice job continuing to get his kids to play hard. And so, they're not probably as talented defensively as they have been in the past. I'm going to guess that they're a little bit disappointed where they are there. But certainly from an offensive standpoint, they're doing what they do, and we need to make sure that we're up for the task.
And what are the keys to the game for the Cougs?
Well, number one, certainly from an offensive standpoint, is we got to be able to run the ball, and certainly we got to have the ability to kind of control a little bit more of the ball game and not let the game slip away from us. We certainly can't rush for -10 again, or it's going to be a long evening. So So we got to be able to run the football, establish some sense of just an identity, and be able to make plays down the field when we need to, and convert on third down, of course, and make special teams a factor. And that's one thing with even going back to last Saturday, special teams became a factor, and unfortunately for us, in too many negative lights. So we got to continue to polish those up and clean those up, to be honest, and not have so many penalties and things like that. And then from a defensive standpoint, I already kind of alluded to, we got to stop the run, and we got to make this football team a little more one-dimensional. And then, certainly when the ball's in the air, we got to take away the deep ball, and that's something that we always preach to our defensive backs. And they got to get that job done. And certainly we're going to do what we can to with our front seven to be able to disrupt as much of a timing or any type of rhythm that they can get in the pass game. So if we can do those things, this will be a close game regardless. But, if we can do those things, we'll be right there. And at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, you want an opportunity to win, and hopefully that's where we're at.
And then lastly, tell us a little bit about outside the football game tomorrow, the promotion.
Yeah, so this is our tackle cancer game, and so the Minnesota State High School League has partnered with the Randy Shaver Cancer Foundation, and I think this is like their 30th some year or 7th or 8th year doing this. And so across the state of Minnesota, from September into October, each home football team is asked to kind of choose a tackle cancer game. This is one that we chose, and so we'll have buckets to collect donations that go directly to the Randy Shaver Community Fund and Research Fund. And it's something that's special. I know to a lot of people. We've all kind of had loved ones impacted by cancer in some fashion, and so obviously this is near and dear to a lot of people. And I think the more, whether it's $5 or $100, I mean, whatever we're able to kind of contribute to that, I'm going to be thrilled for. And certainly we want to make sure that our players understand too that there are bigger things at stake than just football games, and this is one way for us to kind of show that.
All right, we're here with junior defensive back Connor Oldenburg from Mapleton, Minnesota. Connor, before we get into game week, let's take us through your recovery from the injury and tell us how it went down and kind of your way back.
So last year was the last day of camp. We got done with the scrimmage. We're kind of prepping for our first game, and I ended up with a knee injury, ACL, MCL, meniscus, kind of all those things with that. And so it's the last day of camp. It's not exactly how you want your season to go, but I have the ability to come back and play an extra season, so that's kind of a nice thing. But the recovery of it, we have a great training staff. They worked with me every day. Coaching staff worked with me every day. They knew kind of what my limitations were going to be coming back from spring ball, but I came back and I feel relatively 100% now after all that work. So
what have you learned from that mentally and emotionally?
It's been a lot of mental toughness that it's taught me. It's that everything's not going to go your way. You're not always going to get to do what you want, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices, especially if it's something you want to do. But football's something I love so much, and so making those sacrifices wasn't really that hard of a choice.
It might be a cliche, but you're stronger from going through that. And then kind of your thoughts on the season so far.
Obviously, it's kind of frustrating. The wins losses haven't necessarily fallen how we'd like them to, but we've seen a lot in the games, whether it's win or loss, a lot of resilience from the team and a lot of ability to come together as a team in those situations we really need them to. Our win to have it come from a behind win like that, it just shows the team itself is something that's really come together and grown since we first came together at camp with so many new guys. That's been a really big step, is meshing as a team, and I think we're really hitting our stride with that.
And then how have you personally grown since you walked on campus for the first time?
A lot of different ways, especially in football for me. Mentally, it's been such a big change coming from a small high school where I just would play man coverage pretty much the whole game, to have to understand zones and personnel packages and stuff like that. It's a lot different process to come together and understand how the game itself works a lot more. But it's been a process that the coaches have been really well in helping with.
And then how did you end up at Morris?
I ended up in Morris. My school's narrowed down to a couple options that I wanted to play football at, and I decided Morris would be the best school for me if I decided I want to play football. I just love the atmosphere here, love the educational opportunities that it offers.
And then outside the football field, I should say, what's your major and when did you pick it?
I'm a triple major actually: political science, communication, media, rhetoric, and then a social science. I'm pre-law with those, and so I love politics and law, and so my goal is the combination of those three majors to help me in law school.